Welcome back to our finale. In a minute, you'll be hearing from the Housing Minister, Christopher Pincher, who is announcing the Good Neighbour Award and unveiling the winner of winners. As you will have seen over the past 3 nights, the awards have had to reinvent themselves. It's new tech for us, and it comes with glitches, but we got there. Remember that the awards are all put together by a team of 2, working with dozens of volunteer judges, supporting organisations, and a specialist contractor. I'd like to thank the judges again. I'd like to express my gratitude to our supporters. And I'd like to thank the animators and editors of Multi-Minded Digital, which took your plans and perspectives and made them come to life. I want to say thank you in particular to Fiona Miller of Design for Homes, who has done the equivalent of a 3-year course at a digital media college since lockdown, while balancing working from home with homeschooling 2 primary school children. It was Fiona who worked out that there were already drone footage and films of about half the shortlist, and that all we needed to do was to commission a few dozen more to make a very credible alternative to visiting the winners. Thank you, Fiona. You saved the awards this year. Lots of those schemes not awarded over these 4 nights were filmed by our drone contractors. This footage shouldn't go to waste. So if you know we visited you from the sky, talk to us. We have something you might want as a consolation. Likewise, those of you who won, please consider licensing the filmlets for your websites. This won't be expensive, but it will really help us if we can recoup some of our outlay. These awards, as you know, are not set up to generate cash. They focus on information and getting it out there. That's why we have teamed up with VELUX for the final. VELUX's YouTube channel has the bandwidth to webcast anything, and whatever goes on it is then seen by the built environment community across the world. So to tonight's awards and what will happen. You'll hear from the Minister in a second. Then we'll go to the film of the Good Neighbour Award after the Minister says why it won a unique award promoted by MHCLG. Then back to the Minister to announce the winner of winners. That will reintroduce the film that we saw once before. And then that's it. Except the very final slide will say the name of anyone who guessed our winner of winners. That person can expect a fabulous bottle of black chalk, English sparkling wine for the English Housing Design Awards.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to present the final 2 awards tonight. Now, running at a week long, this year's Housing Design Awards are giving the Oscars a real run for their money. But unlike the Oscars, I hope that I announce the right winners in the right order. And whilst I'm sorry that we can't be together tonight, I think it's an important moment to recognise some of the incredible projects and celebrate high quality design across the sector. I think it's fair to say that the last few months have made us even more aware of our built environment and its importance. Social distancing has meant we've spent more time indoors or closer to home. Although it's given us a new set of challenges, it's also created some new and real opportunities. And the challenge the Prime Minister has set me and all of you in the sector is how we can build back better after the coronavirus epidemic. So today I'd like to just quickly talk about three things that I believe can help us do that. Building beautifully, building flexibly, and building greener. I'm interested in your ideas about how we can achieve these objectives, and you'll be hearing more from me and the government on these themes in the coming months. So keep your ears and eyes open and stay tuned. But without further ado, let's get on to the first award that I'm presenting tonight. It's the Good Neighbour Award. It was a new category created last year, one my predecessor endorsed, and I'm really glad to add my voice to that chorus of approval. Last year's winner, Goldsmith Street in Norwich, went on to win not only the Winner of Winners Award, but also the Sterling Prize. So there's no pressure there then, is there? This award recognises the fact that we're not just building houses, we're building homes and communities.
In his 1952 study of Cheltenham, architectural historian Brian Little described Bays Hill Road as one of the finest in all England. 20 years later, the food giant Kraft showed it absolutely no clue why, when it linked a pair of Grade 2 listed properties with dark brown glass curtain walling, so that anyone walking the street passed a foreboding and opaque wall. You can see the large surface car park to the north of Montpellier, used once by the Kraft staff. Pegasus Life, now Life Story, bought the site after Kraft withdrew from the UK in 2010. Pegasus was clear that residents and neighbours should enter a new set of connected buildings with a bistro located to the left of the access from the street side. It's laid out so lonely diners can sit and share the theatre of watching the chef prepare food. And it's open to the whole neighbourhood, an idea borrowed from Switzerland, where opening the canteen to the local community means you get cooking good enough to compete for outside customers. A pair of semi-detached in the Bays Hill House Villa with its Doric columns. The new build, linking building, is set back using a penthouse floor that spans across the two originals. Note how the originals both have the 12-pane Georgian windows. The new build follows the dimensions of the apertures, but is wise enough not to take it further. Precisely cut limestone slabs have the architectural rigour of their neighbours, but without the maintenance challenge of pretending to be stone. The new facades are set to improve and age over time. The listed ones may again become tired. Note how the buildings do not align. Matching the soaring ceilings in the originals would have lost several floors in the new build. This section shows how the development's amenity, such as its spa and its restaurant, are to the Bays Hill Road side. The more private areas, like the car lift, are to the rear. The car lift is one of those where you exit your car before it is remotely parked for you. And note how the top floor has a roof garden. We'll come back to that in a second. So this is what it's like in an apartment on the top floor. Those are the Malvern Hills across the rooftops of Montpellier. Balconies are designed to be accessed from different rooms and to have space for friends. And here's that roof garden. It is wrapped in glazing and partly sheltered. This generation love a seat in the sun and a view, but they don't like a sharp breeze. And this is the back of the 3 blocks, showing how the new build presents to the surface car park behind, which is surely destined one day to be housing soon. The ground plan shows the range of spa facilities that are mostly below street level, but it is the ground floor because it connects to a cellar above grade in the smaller of the 2 original properties, which is being converted into an apartment with its own discrete access. This is the first floor plan, showing the access for guests entering the building for the bistro and its theatre-style seating. The semis in the original Bays Hill house now combine to create one enormous apartment at ground level, which has exclusive access through that dramatic portico. This shows that behind the balustraded parapet to Bays Hill house, there are now large terraces with awnings over to give some privacy from the penthouse apartments above. As the drone climbs higher, the view into the roof terrace garden becomes clearer. and you can see how it is wrapped to extend its use beyond the warmest days of the year. What the drone also shows is a surprise. Neighbouring streets are lined with those famous Regency terraces, but their muddle of outriggers make them look clumsy when compared with the composed relationship of the three buildings at 1 Base Hill Road. And let's not even go into the design of the Magistrates' Court to the right of the car park. As our drone climbs higher, you can see how residents have a response to living among the tops of trees on those terraces. The grey lead-like waterproofing that would have been used to make them secure would never have made that amenity space feel friendly. Vibrantly green AstroTurf is a vivid alternative. Finally, the drone reaches a height where the approach to the apartments and bistro are clearly visible in plan. You can park to the left temporarily while you eat, or you can then walk to the right to enter the building. Or if you're lucky enough to live in the huge apartment carved out of the ground floor of Base Hill Road, you walk up the steps to your temple, like private entrance. Pure theatre. The fabric of our heritage is often seen as a constraint, and there is too much pressure to recreate building styles which we don't have the skills to recreate. So it is very satisfying to see contemporary design cheek by jowl with distinguished precedents and unquestionably improve them. 1 Base Hill Road offers something to the community through its bistro, and as buildings, the three promise that they will feature in the next guide written by an architectural historian to celebrate Cheltenham. That's the ambition of the Good Neighbour Award, to create the next generation of conservation area quality. Congratulations to Life Story, to Cheltenham Borough Council, and to Glenn Howells Architects for 1 Base Hill Road.
So I'm delighted that this year's Good Neighbour Award goes to 1 Base Hill Road, Cheltenham. My congratulations go to everybody that's been involved, including the developer, Pegasus Life, the architects, Glenn Howells, to Cheltenham Borough Council, and to the contractor, BSB. The judges loved how the project both elegantly and originally bridged two Regency buildings with a nod to their classical proportions. The project also gives residents outdoor space, access to a large shared roof terrace, and to a local bistro, which I'm sure that your local MP Alex Chalk will be using. So congratulations to everybody. Now, before we announce the winner of winners, I just want to take this opportunity to say congratulations to all the entrants and, of course, to all the winners. It's a reminder for us that we do have world-leading skills in the design of homes and neighbourhoods in the United Kingdom. And it's fantastic that we've been able to celebrate that tonight, albeit in a less than usual, rather two-dimensional format.
So Rochester is 30 miles from London, one of 5 adjacent towns on the River Medway, which for centuries supported the Royal Navy. Then Chatham Dockyard shut in 1984. Miles of industrial riverfront were abandoned and unemployment surged locally to 1 in 4. Depressed values then killed off decades of redevelopment proposals for the 32-hectare Rochester Riverside site, until the state had spent more than £100 million on site assembly, land remediation, flood defences and a better railway station. But the delays gave Medway time to learn lessons. 1990s proposals for apartment blocks lining the river frontage were replaced with a planning brief requirement 50% of the mix be family homes of 3 or more bedrooms. A new master plan meticulously frames views of the castle and the cathedral using an east-west street grid so residents can walk directly from anywhere in the development to the high street, passing under the new railway station through an underpass so wide because it's daylit. The 2017 hybrid planning application proposed 1,400 homes plus 8 squares and parks, a primary school, 2 hotels and essential shops. Promoters Medway and Homes England chose Countryside and Hyde for 489 homes in phase 1. Now Hyde is delivering 67 1-, 2 and 3 bedroomed apartments for shared ownership in the mansion blocks that shield the scheme from the elevated rail lines of London and Victoria. The new master plan reintroduced cars to bring more activity to river frontage, with a loop road that follows the water's edge. The 30 years delay has seen the flood risk increase so much that a footpath crowning first-generation flood defences becomes a parallel dedicated pedestrian and cycle route. The road and new homes are built several metres higher, and a richly landscaped buffer fills the changes in levels. The scheme architects took local buildings and styles to enliven the grid's perimeter blocks. Parts of the original wall to the medieval town survive, and that concept of an unbroken defensive ring is reflected in how brick boundary walls link buildings, protection against the weather likely to hit the north and east facing blocks. Houses phasing outwards towards the water are paired beneath a gable with a shallow pitch to resemble wharves. Locally, there are many simple Georgian terraces that once housed naval officers. The rigorous geometry with repeated bay widths informs the design of the mansion blocks. Recesses in the brickwork help project that they are linked townhouses. Sheds at Chatham Dockyards had the largest spans of any structures in the world when first built. Those immense timber frame lattices inspire brickwork patterns on other apartment buildings. The grid puts buildings of 3 and 4 stories on the river frontage, with smaller 2-storey and 2.5-storey mews houses behind. The quality of the mews is supported by a patterned brickwork surface, where heritage references are woven into the pavers. There are great streets to walk, fulfilling the design's core objectives of getting residents to head on foot into the town centre. Now, any scheme built next to a station and 2 minutes walk from the high street will cut car usage, but the scheme has a high parking ratio that plans for larger households and reflects how Kent County Highways monitor schemes blighted by a low parking provision.
Part of my river walk that I tend to do most days actually takes me around the river, so along the riverfront. All the 4-bed houses are situated along there, so they have amazing views. Every day they will look outside their master bedroom and see the river. They're set back, so you don't hear any noise from the main road. Even in my apartment, I don't hear that. I don't hear the station on the main road. You don't hear any hustle and bustle. You feel very isolated here, which is lovely. So on those 4-bed houses along that riverfront, you're even further from everything else, and you are on that nature walk and that beauty. So I actually saw seals in the river as well recently, and swans, and it frames the development quite nicely. It kind of gives you that wave along and down the side to kind of create that natural shoreline almost. I know that that's something that we wanted to try and keep in keeping with Rochester Riverside. What was here beforehand, we tried to incorporate that here. I think it works quite well. It's a beautiful development, part of my lifeline recently. So I don't know what I would have done without it, especially not having a garden. I have a great balcony that is located in the sunniest spot ever, so I get all the sun, but it's nice to go for those walks in the green spaces. Go to the castle grounds as well. They've got lovely lush green grass, see families, dog walkers, just a really nice feeling. It's very different to London and obviously where I was living in Stratford, where you didn't try to interact with anybody on the street. It was kind of keep yourself to yourself, but moving here, it's just a really nice, open, spacious feel and very peaceful here. A friend of mine that bought on another development by a different developer, and when she moved in, there was promises of all of these sorts of amenities and shops. As soon as she kind of moved in, they said, oh yeah, you'll move in 6 months later, you have all these shops and this whole lifestyle right on your doorstep. She's been there for about a year now and she still doesn't have anything, whereas this development is only 2 years in, but we've got an open travel lodge, an open co-op, and an open Costa coffee, with more to come. So that is quite unusual. They wanted those shops to be open because the demand was here. We had this great community already. We had a lot of people already moved in. So they were saying, oh yeah, these shops, they will do well, open them please. And I'm glad that they did, because it's provided me so much during the lockdown period. It's been really nice to have and it's on this station square. So even people from outside of Rochester who are just passing the station, they kind of get this glimpse in and they can see, oh, there's a shop there, there's some new houses, and they're like, oh, this looks a really nice little area. And it kind of creates this more talk about this place. It brings in more visitors, which is lovely. We've got some open spaces as well. So it just makes it a really nice area for everybody to enjoy.
After years of false starts, Rochester Riverside has become a place. It has an inclusive range of homes designed for a wide range of households. Its streets are well appointed, and its glorious river frontage walk, punctuated by local areas of play, is already drawing young families from the town to share its amenity. And that coffee shop, convenience store, hotel and civic square is a surprise for any development that's been on site for just 2 years. That's why this scheme is the first ever winner of the Building for a Healthy Life Award. Congratulations to Rochester Riverside for winning the Building for a Healthy Life Award, and to architects BPTW, developer Countryside Properties and the Hyde Group, and to Medway Council.
So huge congratulations to the winner of winners this year, Rochester Riverside Phase 1B, and everyone involved, including the developers, Countryside Properties and the Hyde Group, the architects, BPTW, and of course the Medway Council. The judges really praised how the scheme successfully revives the waterfront in Rochester. While every other scheme on the Medway has large apartments, the Rochester Riverside scheme provides superb low-rise homes, new local shops and a riverside walkway open to everybody. So huge congratulations to everyone involved, and I'm sure your local MP Kelly Tolhurst will be down there enjoying the view with you. Thanks and have a great night.